Welcome to Talking Horses here on this Saturday afternoon, the last Saturday before the holiday break here at the Big A. I am Maggie Wolfendale, and aside the human version of the Big A, Anthony Stabile, and we have $1 million on the line for the New York sired 2-year-olds. The boys will go in the Great White Way, and the girls will go in the Fifth Avenue division.
A little rude, right? Shouldn't the ladies go first?
I agree. What's going on here?
I don't know.
But both of them actually really good races that we'll get to in a bit. But let's jump into the action. Track listed as fast, Anthony. I went out there and I looked at the track up close and personal right before we came on here. I'm glad I got my breath because I was running. But sealed tight, no lying water. It's listed as fast. We'll see what they do because there's just still some light rain in the area if they decide to open it up at any point.
Right. There's still, like Maggie said, a little rain. It's like misting out.
Yeah.
Not something where you need the windshield wipers too strong.
I was annoyed because I couldn't get the right
annoying.
setting. It kept going, and I was like, no, and then I just manually did it.
Thankfully, I have like 1 3/8 to go. It's like a Red Smith for me to get here. So, no turf though. Turf's closed for the season. But yeah, one of those nudgy kind of weather days.
Yeah,
we'll see how
it's just gonna be annoying.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out the rest of the day. But yeah, it should be some fun. As you would imagine, when you put up $500,000 in 2 separate races, it's going to draw an interesting field. There's some maidens, there's some firsters, there's some turf horses trying the dirt. So it does make them fun races, though.
Yeah, a handicapping puzzle. But as far as the board is concerned in the first race, it looks like a walkover for the Chad Brown first-time starter really early here in the wagering. He's 3-5. Kind of knew that early voting would take a lot of money, Anthony, in this maiden special weight going the mile.
Speaking of wagering, though, Maggie.
Yeah.
Before we get into it.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
We got to tell them where to go.
Yeah.
That's the only place to go to keep the money in the game, Margaret.
Exactly. Well, we'll see. Wager on the first race here. Use promo code BONUS200. Check out NYRABETS.com for all the details.
What else we got?
$20 bonus here. Bet Aqueduct and Tampa Bay. Earn $20. Win or lose, we are generous here at NYRA Bets. Make sure you
opt in to all of our promotions. You can opt in for everything today and tomorrow over at NYRABETS.com as we speak.
And also, we do have America's Day at the races. We're actually starting a little bit earlier on FS2. We are on at 2:30 from 6 with racing from here. So we get both the stakes in as well as from Oaklawn Park. I believe the Tinsel Stakes is coming up there. But as I was saying, early voting, I was just getting so excited about this card. And
I know.
A little bit later, so I wanted to get right into it.
Maggie wants to get her early pick 5 ticket in at NYRA Bets.
Exactly.
Very excited.
Chad Brown, I found an interesting stat. So first-time starters in dirt routes in maiden special weights, he's only 6 for 53. But at Aqueduct, he's 4 for 15.
So that kind of leads you to believe that late season or early season, he means a little business with these types.
Right.
So if he's 4 for 15 in Aqueduct, that puts him at 2 for 48 in the other two. I mean, and that just sounds
crazy.
Awful for a guy that wins, does everything at 28, 29%.
I know.
That's a terrible stat, I should say. But yeah, it kind of fits here, and it kind of fits with, we talk about how the stakes, and we're going to see this a lot. And here you have a field of 7. You have 2 firsters. You have 2 horses that have only run on the turf. So you're going to start to see, and you're going to continue to see, I should say, these maiden fields that are just made up of an eccentric bunch, an eclectic bunch, I should say.
Well, and two, he has the pedigree to boot. He's by Gunrunner, who, for his first season, he was.
You remember seeing anything like that?
No,
Uncle Mo was close.
Uncle Mo was close, yeah. He's sitting at 22% with his first-time starters. Now, they have been mostly in sprints, and I actually thought they would get more successful when they stretched out, but they haven't. They haven't as far as the stats are concerned. Maybe it's a progression thing. As they get older, they'll get better. But the Dam Unraced, the siblings are okay in dirt sprints, but it's actually the second generation that is pretty prolific. As this one, the Dam a half to Speightstown.
Well, there you
prolific
go.
sire within himself, and she is a full sister to IRAP, a multiple graded stakes winner going long on the dirt. Wins include the Bluegrass Stakes. So there's plenty of
Practical Joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember him that well. I mean, I remember the name, but
Paul Redham.
Yeah.
Doug O'Neill.
Exactly.
Beat me for $8 zillion that day in the Bluegrass. I remember him very well.
Of course you do. You have my brother Cam second. I got a great Michael Dickinson email saying that this horse will definitely be on the front end next time. I didn't know he was going to show up in a dirt race, though.
Yes, this was the horse, if you recall, took $1 zillion first time out. Horse opened to 2-1, stayed low for most of the way, drifted up to 4-1, set the pace, ran well. So I actually spoke to Michael earlier this week.
Oh, yeah.
On the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So
any clues about my brother Cam?
No, he didn't. I couldn't get any steam from Mr. Dickinson. But,
all right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this horse was on the front end. The thing is, I'm curious to see what dirt horse Matt Doyle does, who did show some speed a couple of starts back, and the blinkers come off after a failed attempt last time with him. That was that weird maiden race where Life is Great kind of jumped up and ran.
Right, and he was scratched, 2 days ago?
Yeah, the Hagler win.
Right, and so we don't really know how to judge that race, honestly. And he does not switch leads. It's something he has done in all 3 of his starts so far. He does not switch to his outside right lead. He continuously loses ground. So therefore, why does that give you any, any inclination that he's going to be better going longer?
I guess they're hoping his pedigree being by violence out of a street sense mare is going to help that cause. I don't know.
I left him completely off.
Yeah,
I have not. Fourth. Yes, he's run fast enough in both of his first 2 starts. His last start was not good. And I don't know why running the worst race of his career at 7 furlongs makes you feel confident taking him going a mile.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I don't want to say I had a tough time with this race, but I kind of felt like the Chad Furster, despite having some pedigree, was a little bit of a default pick. The tote board is kind of letting me know that it was the right pick.
You feel confident. Yeah. I mean, there's Solfero, who actually, I think American Pharoahs are ultimately better on the turf, but on the bottom side, there's plenty of dirt pedigree. The dam by Tisnow. Main event, he seemed really green first time out in that same Life is Great race. Blinkers go on for George Weaver. I think he could improve here, as I have him second. First time starter for Charlie Baker. There's not that much pedigree to speak of. I feel like he's one that we'll watch and see. And then Iconic Adventure, who ran very well first time out, but was beaten by Hagler, who, as we were mentioning, came back on Thursday.
Got the job done.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to put it, right? He got the job done.
He got a 63 for that one.
Yeah, he got the job done. That was not an impressive effort.
Completely disappointing. I mean, he was chasing from the inside. He ate a lot of dirt that day in that Life is Great race, but then he stayed on his inside lead. I still don't know how good Iconic Adventure is, though I do think he is one, despite stopping in that 7 furlong race, that you can make an argument that his pedigree really says he wants to go longer, and physically he looks like he really wants to go longer.
Okay.
So we'll see. Early voting, he's getting all the early money in race number 1. Race number 2, claiming 40 non-2 life, going the 7 furlongs in here, and you went with number 5, Good Culture, making the first start for the Gustavo Rodriguez barn, getting blinkers on.
Big scratch in here, obviously, of the 6 Sound Money, which is 6-5 morning line favorite. I had picked Good Culture with Sound Money in the race.
You picked him on top of Sound Money.
I did.
I thought he was just a single of all singles.
Yeah, I didn't trust him necessarily with the out-of-town form. I don't love when Chad sends them on the goose chase, as I like to call it, right? Keeneland, Churchill, Gulfstream, Saratoga, Monmouth Parks. So I was going to take a little shot against him. Now that shot's a little less potent now, because now I scratch into the second choice in the race, and it's a much different second choice than he would have been third choice behind Sound Money, because behind Sound Money he's 5-6-1 third choice, and now he's in all likelihood the 5-2 or 3-1 second choice, and he loses a little bit of his luster. But the barn does well off the claim. Everything's really running for Gustavo at this point. Gets a pair of blinkers, gets Jose Lezcano. I thought he made sense as the alternative, but now you're going to take him as the second choice. I am not as enthused about this heat as I was when Sound Money was in here, because I thought you could mess around with Good Culture a little bit, have Sound Money as has the lean a little bit, and that was it. But now this race becomes a little bit more open, I think.
Yes, and that's why I put the bar 14 on top. This race is completely devoid of any early speed.
It is.
And that's what I think hurts your horse in here. Good Culture, who I use with respect to Gustavo. And last time Texas Swing, that race a little bit more dominated towards the front end. Nothing really kind of came back. And Texas Swing did come back to repeat with a 78 Beyer with the next time out victory. Now, maybe the blinker's going on. He will show a bit more speed. But I said, why not take a shot here with Bar 14, who at times on the dirt has now with, as far as figures are concerned, now with Sound Money out, they all kind of look similar as far as figures. And why can't this horse, who battled the whole way last time, get out to an easy, comfortable lead like he did going way back when in that April 3rd effort on the dirt? I thought Bar 14 was a little bit interesting in here. Megan in New York, who is kind of climbing back up the ladder, has run well and respectably for Rick Schosberg, who has a serious chance in the Great White Way later on with Unique Unions. And then number 1, there's Full Moon Fever, who you have second. He was entered on November 28th in a New York bred allowance race, scratched that day. Now we come back and see him offered here for the 40, off the layoff, off the trainer change as a new gelding.
Yeah, I know they've had some high hopes for this horse, and he looked like he was going to be okay last winter. I don't know what happened after the 5th place finish behind Lobster. Been gone for a while. Like you said, I don't like the fact that he scratched out of the allowance race and now he's in for the 40, having all his New York bred conditions. But I thought in here, especially now with the scratch, he's a little bit of a player. So again, though, all of these horses, even a horse like Bar 14, which you make a great case for, he's 10 to 1 on the morning line. He's all of that with Sound Money in here. I'm sure, like me, you're not as excited to play Bar 14 at 5 or 6 to 1 as you were at twice the price. So it's a little bit of a different beast now, this race. But yeah, my 4th pick would be the 3, guys. 5, 1, 2, 3. So, yeah.
Okay. Was there anybody else I was going to talk about really quick?
I don't think so.
I just wanted to mention Mr. Winston.
Okay.
He was bad last time in a race that we saw make it in New York run well. Antonio Arriaga has insane numbers first after the claim in dirt routes. He's 7 for 22 with obviously a positive ROI of 439. So I don't love the form. He's a horse that has a little bit of back class, but it's a horse that Antonio Arriaga might do well with.
Okay.
All right, race number 3. As I almost thought. We have 9 races today. I was about to say kicking off the pick 6.
Yeah.
Maiden 30 going a mile for the 2-year-olds. And I think it's kind of, as far as the wagering is concerned, it's going to be down to 2 horses in here. We both put number 6, St. Luke's, on top, as we will check out his first race, which, again, he might be on a wet track, but he completely gets shuffled out of it here, just so green. And so, Irad has to kind of regroup, regather here. He lags at the back of the pack. The 1-2 finishers run 1-2 around the racetrack in Big Scully, Inevitable Connection. How about Inevitable Connection in his second start, coming back here and took a ton of money in an open maiden special weight and actually really ran well, I think just to end up 2nd or 3rd that day. But I know this was a restricted maiden special weight, but I think these top 2 finishers are very good, and we'll see St. Luke's rally up the rail. Yes, he got to save a lot of ground, but I also put in my notes that this horse really galloped out well. Now, he tried that open maiden special weight in his subsequent start. Now he's kind of back to reality as a new gelding here for Rudy Rodriguez. I just feel like all the stars are lining up, and the 1-turn mile should suit him.
Everything you said. There's nothing else really to add to him. I guess the other horse that's going to take money is outside. Well, not all the way outside. Is Illustrious, first off the claim for Mr. Morley. I don't love taking these horses off the Wesley Ward claim.
Oh, God, no. I mean,
he went the mile on the 16th last time, and he showed some speed. And
he was
kind of duped it out a little bit.
Battled the whole way by a 22 to 1 shot, albeit in the slop, 2 turns at Keeneland. And the winner and the second place finisher came from well back. So, I mean, I thought he had a little bit of an excuse. We'll see how much speed he shows here once again. I don't know. I mean, he just hasn't, St. Luke's is just run faster than him.
Yeah, I think the interesting horse in here, depending on his price, is the 7.
Absolutely.
Vindicated, who you have second here. This horse ran sneaky well
He did.
In the debut.
So what I liked is he was up close early, and he didn't really display a turn of foot like a turf horse would. He just kind of stayed on.
He grinded.
He grinded.
He kind of grinded. And he made that little, like, there was like a little middle move he put in that I kind of worry that maybe he is a turf horse.
Why?
Well, that grind bothered me. He just kind of galloped along there.
That's like a dirt horse, though. You want to turn a foot on the turf.
Yeah, I guess.
But he's by Flashback, who, as far as numbers are concerned, he's much more successful with his dirt sprinters, albeit that's going a mile. But the Dam, while she was a stakes place turf sprinter, she did win her lone dirt try. She only had 3 starts, and she won her lone dirt try. And the second Dam won the Adirondack.
And I would imagine this horse is going to be a little closer today, too.
Yeah, I mean, showed
right off
speed
of
going, on the turf, and we saw Spetro come back out of that race, win a New York Bred Maiden Special Weight with a 65. I think our Vindicated's a really interesting prospect in here.
Yeah, I don't disagree. He's the interesting. He's the fuzzy.
Also, Principality dropping down after no running in this turf race. He is a half to Toby's Heart, but all the other siblings were actually good on the dirt, especially on the wet, which I thought was interesting if we get a little bit more rain here.
Yeah, I found this horse's pedigree interesting, right? You take the Dam of Toby's Heart and send it to Commissioner. It just doesn't.
Well, she is by Jack Milton.
Yeah.
To be fair, so that's all turf, and I guess they're just. But like I said, going back a generation, the other siblings have been better on the dirt, and they've especially liked a wet track. So this horse really, really green coming out of the gate, kind of acted like he wanted to get out the whole way. So I think blinkers going on, being by Commissioner, being that there is some pedigree, I thought he was a little interesting.
Blinkers on, cutting back, surface switch. Yeah, lots going on there with Principality.
All right, race number 4 coming up.
Now you can start the pick 6.
Kicks off the pick 6. Great to have, and it looks like you might be able to kick it off with a single here as we see Happy Medium, who, as his form as a latter half of his 3-year-old season, has just been sensational here from Michelle Nevin, a horse that, feels as though he could be running in graded stakes, especially possibly against restricted 3-year-olds. But they're going to go for this second level allowance condition, going the 6.5 furlongs. He won quite easily here over a sloppy sealed racetrack. The waters get slightly deeper, but not that much deeper here. With the presence of Rudy Rodriguez's horse, What Do You Think Now, who ran very well in his last start. But he could, as Andy Sterling does, our track trends, noted that October 21st Belmont main track could have been a little bit, kind to inside speed.
Helped him a lot, yeah. I think that's why he was favored that day. He took a ton of money that day. I think it's part of the reason he was favored. I think you started this conversation the right way. Andy and I have talked about this horse on the program. He's not as excited as I am, it doesn't seem. I think we have a stakes horse. We have a couple of stakes horses on the card today, but I think we have an open company, and I think we have a horse that could be.
Does it bother you at all that they haven't thought about trying any stakes, or it's just let's keep them here, let's run through our conditions and see what we got?
Michelle Nevin and Samantha Siegel
are very practical.
They're very practical.
Yeah.
And they like to go in, and let's be honest, it's $84,000 pot.
Yeah.
You want to go pick off that easy money.
Right.
I never understood not taking the easy money before you have to go hunting for the bigger game.
No, I totally agree with you.
So, it's a time of year where, what's he really going to run against? Do you want to go and run against Flightline in the Malibu?
Yeah.
And Sam's out there, so Sam sees that thing training every day. I don't want to, and as nice of a horse as this is, that horse runs one of his first 2 races. I don't care who goes out there in 2 weeks. Not even, wow, it's a week away. That's only 8 days away.
December has
That's
flown
bananas.
by. It's flown by.
That's crazy.
It bothers me.
So, yeah, I kind of get it. And I guess after this, provided all goes well here, you have to. You have to go and figure out what you're going to do next with him. Maybe
target a race like the Carter.
Right. I would think that, you want to give him, run him 3 times, give him 30 days, and get him ready for the Carter. Maybe that's the plan. I don't know.
Let's see how he runs here.
Yeah, let's see how he runs here.
As I said, his main competition is What Do You Think Now? As he came back off of a disappointing effort. Replay. Francisco.
Go.
I love this horse. He's like everything I want a thoroughbred to look like. Actually, my husband picking him out as a yearling.
Right, Elkstone. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, just your brawny, big dirt sprinter, white face, has that flash, has that really intelligent head and kind eye.
Look at Joel. Look at Joel just finishing,
I know, his hands and
man.
heels.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right, we're
Can't
having
wait
an
till he
issue
comes
with
back.
graphics,
Okay.
so we can verbalize our picks when we wrap up this race. But, you know, we both use the same 4 horses in
Yeah.
here. The thing is, what do you think now? He's not as fast as Happy Medium.
No.
But at least he's drawn towards the outside of him. Now, Mr. Phil, he does have a little bit more speed. I thought he could sit a nice trip as well with Kendrick Harmouche aboard. He has shown ability to pass horses. Is he in as quite as good form as the others? Has he run as fast as the other two?
No.
But Chestertown's kind of interesting. I liked the turn back. I liked what Toby Sheets had done with him. He's a little bit of a finicky horse. Look, I thought gelding him 2 starts back at Saratoga was going to change his life. It didn't at that point. But Toby has talked about taking the equipment off his face.
Oh, it changed his life, Maggie. Believe me, it changed his life. It just did not translate onto the racetrack.
I know.
Yet. Anyway.
Yeah. But he might get the pace to close into today. I know he was well beaten in the Hudson, but at least he showed some life.
Yeah, with Foolish Ghost in here, what do you think now needs to be forward? Happy Medium, of course, from the rail. Even Mr. Phil's better races are when he is forward, though he does pass horses. Yeah, Chestertown was a little interesting. So I went 1-6-8-9. What did you do?
I went 1-6-9-8.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward here. Again, apologies about the graphics. Should we take a break here, Francisco, see if we can get it working?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's do that. So we're going to take a break, see if the graphics will come back on, fingers crossed. But thanks for sticking with us here on Talking Horses. We'll be right back.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back. Maggie Wolfenhill, Anthony Stabile with you here for Talking Horses as we will kick off the late pick 5 sequence. We've got our graphics back and you can see, at least my probably really poor picks. No, I'm just kidding.
People were looking for your picks yesterday, by the way.
I know. If I could only be more computer literate and know how to put them.
Apparently, you picked a cold try 2 days in a row. That's what I was told on Twitter today.
Okay.
They're watching. Khaleesi.
Again,
Khaleesi,
I'm
they're
much
watching.
more comfortable down in the paddock looking at horses. That's my thing.
They're
but
watching.
I do enjoy being up here with you, sir.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Maiden special weight for the New York breds. 2-year-olds going the 6 furlongs and a lot of guesswork to be done here. You opted to go with the horse that has at least one proven race, and that's number 7, Bold Journey, off the private purchase here from Carlos Martin into the Bill Mott barn. Blinkers going on. We'll check out his race in which we saw G Munning.
Do we have to? I'm going to close my eyes for this. Okay?
Why? You had Bold Journey?
12,000.
Well, I didn't like
I'm not
him.
watching.
He doesn't switch leads here. First of all, from my perspective in the paddock, G Munning just looked like a much more well-prepared horse in his first start, just that much more fit, that much more professional. And it's obvious that Bold Journey can run, but maybe the blinkers going on, make him a little bit more professional, get him out of the gate, maybe a little cleaner. Stats for Bill Mott, first after trainer change with maidens, 4 for 31.
You look disgusted. You don't look
Well,
happy
I'm just
right now.
I'm just saying. I just thought, at a short price, there are reasons not to like this horse.
Looked like you ate like soured, like clam dip just now. Didn't look good.
Francisco, we gotta get these graphics working. No, I'm just kidding. Not your fault.
Oh, they're gone again? Come on, guys.
Guys, what are we doing?
I just did that on a camera. Yeah, I mean, I had to get my Bill Mott fix in.
I know. I wasn't gonna.
Really
I just
had
did
to.
an Andy, so I wasn't gonna do
I had
another
to.
Andy.
I'll free lead him in. And this horse ran well enough first time that I thought I'm hoping the blinkers help him.
I'm taking a first-time starter.
I don't blame you.
Golden Code for Todd Pletcher.
We're back.
He is a son of Honor Code. The Dam, she did win, albeit a very slow stakes race as a 2-year-old. This horse is a half to Gypsum Johnny, who was a very productive dirt sprinter. Manifest Destiny,
fun horse, fun horses.
See running around here, and Retinova, who won her first 2 starts as a 2-year-old, including New York Stallion Series stakes, with an 83 buyer as a 2-year-old. And this guy has been preparing at Palm Beach Downs, and if you go online, XBTV, you can watch some of the workouts, and I watched his last 2, and he just looks like this big horse that covers a ton of ground with his stride. He's easily been disposing of any of his workmates, albeit they have been unraced workmates, so no real gauge to go on of who he's facing. But I just like the way that he's been training, the way he's moving. We'll see. Maybe the 6 furlongs proves to be a little bit on the short side for him. But and I know he's probably going to take money.
All the horses you just mentioned, they wanted to sprint.
Yeah. And 2 first-time starters. First-time starting New York breds at Aqueduct, Todd Pletcher, 11th for 38.
There you go. And don't let the Palm Beach thing shouldn't bother you, because Todd has that's his fall-winter base, and the fact that he's shipping this horse up here, obviously he's a New York bred. So
now, obviously, the most interesting pedigree horse in here draws in. That's number 13, Infeasible, for Rob Atras, the half-brother to Tiz the Law.
Yeah. So Tiz the Law's little brother draws in. Rob's numbers, I think people will be surprised at how good the Atras barn numbers are first time out. He wins over the last couple of years at around 17%, which is probably higher than most people would have thought.
Yes, absolutely.
And they run, even when they don't win, they kind of run well. This horse has a solid gate drill 2 back on paper. Let's see.
I will say that's a little bit slightly on the slower side for out of the training track, on the training track. Because as I mentioned yesterday, it's not a true half mile. So you went, and we saw Tweaked won yesterday with that 47-2 out of the gate on the training track. This horse 48-2, but Rob isn't a guy who really, pushes on his horses that much. We'll see. Mission Impossible on the top indicates should be okay at a sprint distance. He's also half to Allstruck, who is a multiple stakes placed. I can't read my notes here. I hate when that happens. Multiple stakes placed dirt sprinter too. So I think that horse drawing in, you have to take a look at as well. As far as any other horses, respect to Rudy Rodriguez with a Bernardini, though that pedigree says he wants longer. And then Burt for Kelly Breen. The Dam, a good 2-year-old, graded stakes place as a 2-year-old, and half to Financial Stability, who is a decent dirt sprinter around here, and by Classic Empire, who as well has gotten off to a good start as a 2-year-old stallion, and we've known Kelly Breen to bring horses over ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I used a little Rudy and a little Kelly Breen as well.
All right, moving on to race number 6. It's our first Stallion Series stakes. It is the Great White Way for the 2-year-old boys, 7 furlongs on the main track. And let's start the conversation, though, with the proven dirt horse who looks to have the most early speed from the rail draw, and that's number 1, Unique Unions. Was eased in his first start, but talking with Rick Schosberg, he said that this horse crossfired. So crossfired means when a horse switches leads, let's say to his inside lead, he also has to switch behind, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So as a jockey and feeling that happen underneath of you, being cautionary, Jose Lezcano opted to pull him up. Rick said they did some work with him, chiropractor, firing on all cylinders, and we saw it here with this win against Maiden Special Weight Company.
He was good. He was good this day, and he's controlling from the inside. You mentioned, I think you said the key word here, dirt form, right? The second and third choices on this morning line, well, the favorite and the co-second choice on the morning line have exclusively run on the turf. So, give me the dirt experience. Obviously, I picked the horse. Give me the dirt experience any day of the week. No disrespect to Maceda and Gino, but yeah, I'll take the dirt form. I thought this horse was real impressive last time, and having the information as to what happened in his debut, I mean, you could really give him a pass on that race.
Yeah.
And it makes the maiden win, I think, even more impressive because you know what happened first time now. There's no more guesswork involved, and he comes back and he won in a common gallop last time. I'll take him.
Now, we'll see with the track condition. I think, if it stays wet and sealed tight, it might enhance the chances of these turf horses.
Right.
As you mentioned, Maseta, son of Japan, the dam unraced, all the other sibling, though, all turf. And this guy does look like a turf horse to me. Does put the blinkers on after he kind of gets to wondering in his races. And Gino, it's all turf as well. Big Brown can be okay going along on the dirt, but I thought the interesting horse in here was actually a Florida bred, but is by a New York stallion in Trinityburg. That's number 8, Stir de Pot, coming out of an open maiden special weight down at Churchill, in which it was won by Hired Standard, who is a Tom Amoss horse. We see in those yellow colors there. Stir de Pot's going to be in those purple colors, that gray horse with kind of the white face. He shows some greenness here lingering on his inside left lead, but he does persevere here. He keeps coming. After he switches, he kind of levels off, gets into stride a little bit better. And we saw Higher Standard come back, run second in a stake with an 82. The 7th place finisher came back to win a maiden special weight, 69. The 8th, who was a beaten favorite back to normal, came back to win with a 79. He was facing better horses. And Genevieve Landano, she hasn't been training that long. She also has the co-breeder on this horse and co-owner. And her barns, with a limited amount of starters, has been doing well. So it feels as though people like this, they know where to spot their horses. And 2, as I mentioned, the track, at least he has that experience on a wet track.
Absolutely. I'm using him. I mean, I'm going to lean pretty heavily on Unique Unions in here, but I'll have a backup ticket in the late pick 4, late pick 5 with both Stir de Pot and Iron Lion and Zion.
You like Iron Lion and Zion?
I like the fact that he has. I thought his first dirt race was good. I thought his second both races were on dirt. I thought his second race was much better. I'm always impressed by horses, by 2-year-olds that pass horses. He passed them all last time, with some trouble after the break. So
with the monumentally,
he had a great setup. But he still delivered.
Still don't know how good that field was.
I don't either.
Boss Making Boss Moves ran second in a maiden claimer, and then jumped up and had a similar trip as Iron Lion and Zion, maybe not quite as much trouble, and so ran second coming from well behind. Now, I do think, maybe sometimes the 7 furlongs is a mitigating factor. Maybe hinders a horse like Unique Unions with the presence of a horse like Kenner in here, where the 7 furlongs, Iron Lion and Zion has already proven at it. He's just going to have to prove how good he is. And I don't think, now that he doesn't have the 1 hole, that we're going to see the trouble at the start. So like his first race where he was close, look for him to be more forwardly placed. We'll see if that plays into his favor.
I think that's going to help his cause. I was going to say that as well. I would imagine the break last time and the draw kind of hindered the start. And now, with a better break, more comparable to the one in his debut, with 2 races under his belt, having won at 7, there's 2 turf horses in here that we don't know if they can run a step on the main track.
I didn't use either of them.
Right?
So you're not supposed to take short price horses.
You're not supposed to. They're the favorite in the co-second choice on the morning line. You got a couple of horses out of town from barns that kind of do better at it. The one barn, the Nest barn, they kind of do better out of town. Right, Thorny Tail came back and did not fire a second big shot on the circuit yesterday.
A little bit of trouble, but I will say, I just want to make a quick note because I had this horse. He was a scratch back on November 21st, a late scratch, and I didn't know at the time whether it was vet or he got loose, but he was just loose. Obviously, I thought he was a vet scratch, and then he got loose from the rider.
He was just loose. Okay.
Okay. I thought my interesting long shot was number 11, Unahoho. Do you think that means he only has 1 eye? I thought. Because doesn't it?
Oh, right, yeah.
Doesn't matter. I've known a lot of one-eyed horses that can run.
Patch.
Let's look at this horse's maiden breaking performance. Delta Downs Bull Ring, wide the whole way, just loops and swoops this field under, a common kind of canter.
Yeah, he galloped.
He looks like a big leggy horse too, and I think maybe getting away from the Bull Ring at Delta Downs to a bigger configured racetrack here at Aqueduct, I think it'll play well into this horse's hands. He goes out for Tony Dutcher, who's enjoying a sensational year, and to the company that he's kept, it's right on par with the horses that these New York breds have been running against. So I think Unahoho is a little bit interesting, and I like that effort. The mile at Delta around 2 turns, not a bad effort either, finishing 4th that day. I think, too, with a little bit of hitting up front, that guy could make some noise.
Okay.
Race number 7, going a mile, starter allowance in here. We did see a scratch here of a possible speed, though I do think Swinton is the speed of the speed as well. And you went with number 2 from the inside, Blue Grotto. Why did you like him?
Should be 2917, gang. I just wanted a little bit of an alternative to the horses that I thought were going to take money in here. I thought the entry would take some money. I felt like Royal Realm would take some money, as well as No Burn. I just wanted a horse. He started off the break. I thought his race 2 back, the first start off the layoff from April, was a good effort, right? That's the day where Boldish over at Belmont was able to just kind of walk the dog on the front end. Top Gun Tommy never went to the lead. I thought he ran well that day. I thought he reacted a little bit, even though he had enough time. I like the fact now that he comes back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're actually checking out this replay for Royal Realm, who you see kind of just start getting very headstrong with Trevor McCarthy. It wasn't a slow pace, but it was a pace that held together. So in hindsight, this move actually may have helped him, but I do think wasting that energy probably didn't get him the win, as we saw Texas Swing here, who's just perched right outside the early pace setter. And I mean, check out Royal Realm. He battles gamely. See, my problem with Blue Grotto, and maybe you're right, maybe he reacted to that big performance off the layoff first time back. He's supposed to be 3rd here, and he blows that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I don't necessarily disagree. He was not good last time. You're not betting him, at least I'm not betting him today off the last race. I'm betting him off the race 2 back, and I'm hoping that race last time dirties up his form a little bit and gets me another point or 2 on the tote board, which is what I think is going to happen here. I also think there's a chance he'll be a little bit more forward today, and I think that could help his cause as well.
Does feel as though there is a lot of pace in here, though.
Oh, I don't think he's going to be. I think he'll be more. He just didn't really seem. See, last time was weird. He didn't seem like he wanted to be involved at all last time.
I know. That's why I mean, I used him here. He does get a different rider in Jose Ortiz, who's not any more aggressive than Kendrick. So
no. I'm hoping he gets a little bit of a trip in here. That's what I'm hoping.
Okay, I went with Blake B. First off, the Linda Rice claim, and I thought, as much as I love Joel, I thought it was an uncharacteristically bad ride from him. This horse broke well, actually broke pretty much on top, and then Joel continuously took him back in that race, wired by Bear Alley that day. So I thought I could give him a pass for that effort, and his 2 races before that, albeit for the Chris Hartman barn, who was doing very well at Churchill and in Kentucky, were good enough to make him a major player here. We'll see if Linda can get him back to those races. As race number, we
saw the race kind of similarly, 1, 2, and 9.
Yeah. Race number 8, the girls' turn. It is the Fifth Avenue division, and I think 2 major players in here, and the probable post-time favorite will be number 6, Morning Matcha, as we will check out her race here back at Parks. She won with the utmost ease, Anthony.
Yeah, she galloped. I keep using that word today, but there are a lot of these horses. Listen, it has been well documented on this program. I do not love the Parks form, but if this horse runs her last race, she's going to win. She's going to beat these horses. Now, it was around 2 turns. She was 1 to 9, and this is what 1 to 9 shots are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to win by daylight. This is how the 1 to 9 shots are supposed to win. She beat a horse in Landslide, who we've seen on the circuit for a while.
Yeah, she's modest.
Yeah, not much.
You went with How Do You Make Your Money?
Yeah.
Why do you like How Do You Make Your Money? We'll check out her race last time out here in the Glorious Song Stakes up at Woodbine on Synthetic.
You and I talked about this yesterday morning. This filly debuted on dirt in Saratoga against Sue Ellen Michigan. It was an impressive one. She only got beat 2 lengths for second after setting the pace and kind of dealing with the winner from Jump Street. And I think she has just gotten better. I don't necessarily think it's been the turf and the all-weather, because I think her maiden race, her debut race on the main track, was a good one. I think she's just gotten better. I think she has some positional speed where it puts her closer than maybe a horse like Morning Matcha. I don't know how they're going to ride Morning Matcha today, but she's going to be much more forward than Morning Matcha. In fact, Maggie, depending on what horse like Half Birthday and Bank on Anna do, I would imagine How Do You Make Your Money is no worse than third early on. And I think that's going to help her cause today. They're bringing Michael Sanchez in to ride. Michael does a good job. I think he's won almost 150 races this year down at Parks. I don't mind the riders as much as I mind the form down at Parks. But I just think this filly's gotten better. I think she finds herself in a good spot. I think she's going to work out a good trip. I think she's a logical alternative to the favorite.
Now, look, I just thought she looked like a turf horse based upon her first two efforts here on the NYRA circuit, but Mike Trombetta has been working her on the dirt at Fair Hill, and she looks to be working well. I thought Bank on Anna a little bit interesting. She was entered as an MTO in that off-the-turf race, showed that good early speed, was beaten by a first-time starting favorite and thinking it over. As you mentioned, she could show a little bit of early speed. And then Yo Cuz, I'm a little remiss I didn't send in the video on her. She took so much money. Why did they pay $125,000 for this filly? Yes, she's a Laoban. They did do well last year. Not much pedigree on the bottom side. She only galloped in that sales workout. She takes all this money. I mean, she was favored for a long time in the wagering that race. She blows the brake. She was acting up before going into the gate as well. And then she actually ran on pretty well, getting a lot of experience out of that race since she's come back with that flat 47 over the training track. So she scares me.
I almost put her second. I toyed with putting her on top. She certainly looks like a horse that is absolutely going to benefit from her first start.
And she's just going to benefit from more ground, because honestly, I thought she looked like a horse that wants to run longer, too.
Absolutely. And again, you never assume another poor break. If she breaks, she'll probably be closer. I think there's a lot of things to like about her. My biggest problem with her is going to be she's going to be probably shorter
than she should be. Absolutely. Race number 9, as we will close things out here, a New York bred allowance, 6.5 furlongs. We do see the plain one come out of here. And Anthony, it's a pretty full field, still 13 runners going postward. I just took a shot in the dark here with number 4, Reggae Music Man.
Love it.
Looks as though he's working well. And 2, he was those first 3 races. Okay, they make him a fringe player, but those were as a late 2-year-old, early 3-year-old with routine improvement, and he runs faster, 5 to 10 points faster.
He's the 4th pick, guys. 12, 2, 3, 4.
And he has early speed. Cheek pieces
I thought you
come
just said
off
Andy
today.
has early speed.
and he has. So I took a shot here with Reggae Music Man because I didn't love anybody else. They're going to bet Uncle George on turf form.
Yep.
Yes, he has pedigree to go either way, but why has Christoph spent 2 years running him on the turf?
2 years, and now he draws the rail with the scratch at Debo. This is a horse that doesn't break real. He finds himself in trouble all the time at the gate, has 0 speed, and now he's down inside. Yeah, I probably should have flipped things up a little bit.
Well, you used Tapazirans, who was against the track.
Completely against it last time. He did not have a great start, and I just wanted to give this horse a second chance for Linda. Linda is quick to acknowledge a bad claim. And the fact that this horse is right back in the allowance race, is a huge positive. So it became this one, as far as making a selection, I want to spread a little bit. I want to use 2, 3, 4, and 12. But as far as making the selection, Tapazirans was a no-brainer for me. Based on that fact alone, this horse would have been back in for 12-5 if there was an issue. Linda shows the confidence after everything last time to put this horse back in the straight A of the van. I think that boost of confidence is enough for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Looks a little cheap at some of the races, but has run fast enough surely to win this spot here. That will do it. Thanks for sticking with us here on
we flew home.
But on Talking Horses, as always, make sure you sign up for a NYRA Bets account if you haven't already done so. Keep the money in the game and use a great tool, NYRA Bets. Use promo code BONUS200. NYRA Bets also offering this $20 bonus, bet $100 each at Aqueduct and Tampa. Earn $20, win or lose. Make sure you
opt in.
All right, that'll do it for Anthony and I. You can check out more action on America's Day at the Races coming up at 2:30. We can also hear...
For who?
Anthony? Oh, Magany?
Yes.
We also have Chris Griffin on the mic once again as he's coming up next with a reprise of your scratches and changes.
Thank you very much, Maggie, as we get set for race number 1, 28 minutes away from the opener here at Aqueduct. Here are today's scratches and changes. Race 1, start of the early pick 5 is clear, no changes. Race 2, start of the early pick 4, scratch the 6, Sound Money, scratch the 8, Magnificent.